Hello, it's Christy McAlister talking about lessons I learned in 2016 and growing life with passion as quickly as I did. So if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with the visibility that I've had and how much of that came in 2016. I've been talking about this a little bit during this series on the things I did to grow my business in 2016. And one of the big things that I did was I focused on visibility and consistent visibility to grow my business. And that includes appearing on 5 podcasts in the last quarter of the year. That includes being selected personally by Ariana Huffington to be featured on Huffington Post. That includes being featured on the Today Show's blog and their Facebook page for parents with a huge audience. That includes, I had like 370,000 followers at the time. Hey, Kim, good to see you. A lot of different stuff. And my purpose here is not to brag, but more to tell you that I was able to get visible, right? Like I set this goal of getting really visible and I was able to accomplish that. And so I know how to do it right. And I know how important it is because I know what it did to grow my business. And I want to help you learn these lessons so that you can grow your business, because I did all of this without paying a publicist. I did all of this without, hiring some kind of an expert publicity coach or mentor or something like that. I did all of this by looking around at what was possible and paying attention to what I was excited about, who I wanted to get in front of, who I wanted to share my message with, and then following through, right? So it's pretty simple. But one thing that I've been hearing a lot lately from my clients is I'm really scared to put myself out there, right? And tell me if you can relate. I know that I can at times in my career. I have been really scared to put myself out there. I've been scared of what people would think. I've been scared of failing. I've been scared of judgment, of criticism, of sharing too much, of, after Maeve died, I was scared that if I talked about her and how her life changed me, that I would be exploiting her, or that people would think I was exploiting her death. Kim says she can relate. Awesome. Hey, Mallory, thanks for joining. So all of these things have been fears that I needed to work through big time. And that, now I've gotten a lot more comfortable, right? I had never done a live stream. I didn't know what I was doing. And honestly, with a background in media communications, I resisted that for a long time because my background is in creating professional quality videos. So hopping on here and doing one where I don't have 3 lights pointed all these different directions. The audio isn't perfect. My phone drops. If you've watched any number of my live streams, you see my phone drop, all this craziness, right? Yes, Mallory says, so happy I could catch you live. Me too, Mallory. Awesome. Yes, this is fun. So, I really held myself back for a long time. And so I get what that feels like. And I also get the value and the fun and the power of becoming visible, both to increase your confidence and to grow your business. And then a third thing, to spread your message, to share your message, right? I have such a strong desire to reach tons and tons of women and empower them to live the lives of their dreams and help them get over the things that are holding them back, whether those are, personal tragedies, traumas they've experienced, tough things, or just a lack of self-belief. All of these things can be just as crippling, right? So my mission is to get in front of what will one day, I believe, be millions of women, because it's already been hundreds and hundreds of thousands. So 2017 is probably the year for millions. I also appeared on Louisville TV, right? And Louisville is it's a decent sized market in terms of the US. So there's just so much stuff that happened this year, right? And so I want to know from you, what are your dreams in terms of being visible? What would be Oh my gosh, if I got that, like that would be incredible. What would you like to learn how to do? Tell me and I'll tell you how I did it. I'm happy to share this information. I want you to grow your business. Kim says, I was afraid to talk about my writing accident because I thought others would not see me as a professional trainer. Okay, Kim, thanks for sharing that. So you had a writing accident and you were afraid that people would judge you for that. You know, I can, from my perspective, I can say, you know, my belief as a horse owner and rider is that the more times you fall off, the better of a rider you become, right? So that would be the perspective that I would look at it from. But I can totally see why you have this story about, like, if I talk about, you know, what I went through, what I experienced this negative thing, then people would judge me and they would see me in a negative light in terms of my abilities as a professional trainer. So have you gotten over that, Kim, or are you still not talking about it much? It's not something that I've heard you talk about before or mention. Mallory says, wahoo to millions. Yeah, right? Impacting millions. Because this is a message that every woman needs to hear. And we are all on this journey together, and we are all growing together, and we all have a unique message and story to share. I have a client who wrote an article based on a study that she had done that got an offer to be published in a big magazine and in her industry, and she was really freaked out about it, freaked out about what people would think, freaked out about the pushback. And so that was something that we worked through together. And wow, it's so legitimizing for her to be able to talk about on her website, you know, as featured on this magazine. Hey, Amanda, thanks for joining. Kim says, yes, I'm past it now and tell others about what I went through. Awesome. I love that. And have you found it to be a powerful sticking point, like in terms of helping people to remember you, a sort of a peg for them to hang, like, oh, you know, Kim went through this powerful thing and like I can learn from her. Mallory says, I haven't really thought of the visible side of my business and I'm not sure what my visible goal would be at this time. That's okay. Hey, Mallory, you're pretty new. You're pretty new in doing what you want to do, right? And so right now, you know, from what you've shared, you have an income goal. That's the place to be. That's the place to be focused right now, so that you stay focused on that one thing, right? Like, you know, that's the most important thing for you right now. But pay attention, like maybe something will come up for you if you start thinking about visibility and how to leverage like your knowledge and your expertise in your industry. Maybe something will come up, you know, that would be fun for you. And when that happens, you can say, yeah, I'm all for it, right? This piece may not be the best thing for you to focus on right now, but knowing what is what's most important. And knowing that when the time is right, this can be something that could be a whole lot of fun. And also being aware of whether, you know, this is something that you have fear or resistance around, so that when it is time, you can, you know, get the support that you need. You can ask the questions, all of those types of things. So, you know, for a long time, I really hid behind my clients. In my marketing business, I hid behind my clients. Like, I did not put myself out there. I was so proud of my clients, so proud of the accomplishments that they were making, and I still am, right? I'd much rather talk about all of you all the time than me. The reason I talk about myself is because I want you to know what's possible, because I know it was really important for me to be inspired, and still is, by people who are further ahead of me on this journey. And I want to be able to give you some value, right? I want to be able to answer your questions. How the heck did you do this? Why did you do this and not this? Where are we along the way, right? Like, this live stream is like live group coaching with me. And so I want to be able to show you what's possible, to challenge you on maybe some limiting beliefs that are not helping you get where you want to be. And instead to help you get where you want to be. So Kim says, my visible goal would be to have horse owners calling me to do clinics around what I teach. I love that. So Kim, where do you need to get in terms of leveraging visibility, in terms of maybe leveraging other people's audiences, in terms of appearing somewhere where you know your ideal clients hang out and positioning yourself as an expert? Where do you need to get in order to have people showing up and going, I saw her there, I saw you there, I heard you here, I read you here, and now I want to connect with you because I like what you had to say? Because that's happened for me. From the 5 podcasts I was on in 2016, I already have 4 booked for 2017 so far. I'm so excited. 2 of them are this coming week. If you're watching this live, January, I still have my December calendar up. That's awful. And my January calendar is being used as a prop for my phone right now. So this Tuesday, whatever this Tuesday is, and this Wednesday, I'm going to be on a couple of awesome podcasts I'm so excited to share with you. So stick around and I'll be talking about how you can join the one on Tuesday live. Okay. Mallory says, thank you for letting me let this go as not something to focus on at this time. Yes, Mallory, here's the thing. You are showing up, you're asking the questions. There will always be more to do. And at the same time, you know where you're going to focus on right now. And if you catch yourself going anywhere else with that, I want you to come back. This is like sticky note exercise, right? Like you stick this everywhere. This is what I'm focused on. It's okay to let everything else go because you're focusing to get momentum. Otherwise, you won't get any. Truth. Hashtag Christine Truth, right? Great advice. Love that thinking. I'm so glad. Kim says, I got to start doing more YouTube videos, I believe. Awesome. Kim, do you have a YouTube following yet? Are you an expert in like getting people to watch? Either with naming, by the way that you name them, by the way that you categorize them. Do you know how to get people on your YouTube videos? Do you have an audience that you're going to be sending them out to? If not, it could be that just creating more YouTube videos might not be the most strategic thing because you don't have an audience that's going to engage them right now. Kim says, I keep having people tell me to focus more on my tech business instead of my horse business. My passion is my tech business. Girlfriend, you got to pick one, right? And if your passion is your horse business, that's the one where you're going to always be able to show up. You're going to be able to show up with excitement and energy every day. Kim says, yes, I have a small YouTube following. That's great. What's small, right? Because that could mean anything. My YouTube following isn't very big. I'll be totally transparent. I just crossed the 1,000 views on all of my videos together mark maybe a month ago. And I have literally like a couple dozen people who follow me, meaning they get a subscription every time. They get a notification every time I post something. But I haven't promoted that at all. I haven't promoted it 0. YouTube was something that I started in order to have an easy way to share things like this with you all. Things like this with my followers, where I do a live stream. I need a place to put that up so that I can link to it in my emails, things like that. And so if people find me, it's a bonus, but it's not my main source of connecting with people. So, Kim, maybe there are other places that you can go and you could say, look, I've got this awesome video. I think it would be really useful to your subscribers. Are there places where you've already created content and you could write it up and pitch it to like an online horse magazine where you could be featured, a blog or something like that already has a lot of followers, and you're going to get in front of them very easily using some content that you've already created, even if you need to repurpose it, right? Like by taking a video and typing it up, transcribing it turning it into an article. And that can go both ways. If you've already written an article, you could turn it into a video. You could turn into any kinds of things. For example, dun, 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 here's a little surprise announcement for you, just for being here, just for watching. I am getting ready to release a written version of my wildly popular audio training series, How to Escape Your 9-to-5 and Create Your Own Success Story, where I share my story and I share the biggest things that I did to get from, in that job that I hated so much that I was like wishing I would get in a car accident to, traveling the world, working with women around the world, doing what I love. And so here's what I did. I made this audio training that I was really proud of. It's been downloaded well over 2,000 times, probably close to 3. And what I found is that it wasn't getting listened to that much. People who listened to it loved it. But people would download it and then not listen to it, right? Because so many of us opt into these freebies, right? We opt into freebies. We have 5 million ebooks, audio trainings, video trainings, blah, 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 blah. So I surveyed my group and I said, how do you guys like to take in trainings? And most of you said reading, which is really funny because guess what? That's the same way I like to take in things. Duh. But I made this audio training. So instead of going, oh, what a waste, it's ruined. Because I'm really proud of it. It has like professional intro music and professionally recorded with a big video. And I was like, why are people not listening to it? Even has an accompanying workbook. Okay. Well, I can't make anyone listen to it. If it's not helpful to them, it's not how they absorb information, then fine. Guess what? My awesome VA, Julie, typed it up for me. We're going to finesse it. We're going to make it better to read in an article, like in article form, so it doesn't just sound like I'm talking. And we already have the workbook for it, and we're going to repackage it as an awesome, really pretty PDF. It's going to be so much easier for people to digest who prefer to read because it's really important to me to get that information out there. That's the bottom line. That's what the whole purpose of that story is. So you already have information that you could repurpose or that you could just dump out of your brain like, right? Open up, dump out of your brain, and very easily have content that would be really important to your ideal client. And chances are you're overcomplicating it because you're more steps ahead of your ideal client than you realize. And so a lot of times, like what I see with my clients is they're getting in their own heads going, this isn't good enough. This isn't far along enough. Well, guess what? Maybe it's not for you. Like if you're trying to teach yourself, which is pretty hard to do. That's why we look to mentors, right? But if you're teaching somebody who is even half a step behind you, then they're going to like eat up that information in whatever your expertise. So Mallory says, I think I'm one of those subscribers. Hee hee. Mallory, thank you. Thank you for being like 3% or more of my subscribers at this point. But guess what? If I'd never started, I wouldn't have, a couple dozen subscribers. I wouldn't have over 1,000 views. Fine. Kim says, I have 114 followers. One of my videos has over 5,900 views. Amazing. Amazing, Kim. So that's awesome. So you know why that video has done so well. So can you replicate that? Can you take that video and say, I have a video with almost 6K views. This is obviously a topic people want. And can you pitch it to a couple of equestrian magazines, training magazines, whatever the topic is, blogs. Oh my gosh, because again, this is about very easily getting in front of more people rather than starting from zero, starting from scratch, starting from 0 views every time. Leverage that one that's already clearly got traction. You do not have to reinvent the wheel here. Mallory says, so true. Kim says, I'm always worried I will run out of stuff to say. You will never run out of stuff to say, Kim. You'll never run out of stuff to say, so start telling yourself that. You'll never run out of stuff to say. I used to feel that way too. And when I was, my content was only just being created like the day of, I'd wake up and be like, what am I going to say? Right? But the truth is, I guarantee you, if you sat down and systematized this, you've got a year's worth of content done and done and done. You just need to maybe get organized and a little bit ahead of it so that you're not constantly scrambling, because when you're scrambling, then you're stressed about creating that content. Then you're stressed about where you're going to appear visible. And then your creativity is down. What I have found is that as I've started to plan ahead, even like a day or two, I have way more ideas coming to me all the time because I'm not pushing down into fight or flight mode. So Kim, my biggest recommendation to you with one video with over 5,900 views, put it in the Facebook group if you want. Ask for feedback on it. Let us help you figure out how you can leverage that. What dream media equine appearances would you love to have? And anybody else watching in your industry, what dream appearances would you love to have? Where have you already had traction? Do not overcomplicate this. One of the biggest things that I do with focusing, with being the queen of simplicity, is helping you figure out what's working already very quickly and helping you focus on that to gain momentum, to make more money in your business. Okay? Janine says, I've chickened out every day this week about posting and doing a video. Must overcome by the end of the weekend. So Janine, what's that about? What's the fear? Let's have a little dialogue here, right? Tell me why you've chickened out. Tell me why you're procrastinating on this. What do you want your video to be about? Have you chosen a topic yet? It could be 1 minute. Heck, it could be 30 seconds. Instagram only recently allowed you to do any longer than a 15-second video. It could be 15 seconds. I know we're talking about Facebook here, but I'm just saying Instagram's owned by Facebook. So as an example, you could do 15 seconds. Hey, my name's Janine. This is what I do. I'd love to connect with you. And done. Done. Put it up, post it, and walk away. Right? Post it and walk away. Do not sit there and scroll, like refresh, are people watching it, right? Which is all of our tendency to do it. I totally get that. So I'm laughing about it because I've done that too. But post and walk away when you're scared, okay? Kim says, get ahead. That's great advice. One of my challenges, I do tend to overcomplicate things. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. That's why you're here. That's why you're learning. That's why you're showing up. That's okay. You know, where I see people getting the most traction is when they really focus on one thing, which you've heard me say and which sounds so cliche, but it's so true. Because here's the deal. As like multi-passionate, high-achieving, motivated women, which we all are, we all have a million ideas. We all have a lot of different capabilities for ways that we could do things. And the thing is that we're very intelligent. And so we're looking around, we're gathering information, we're going, oh, I could do it this way or this way or this way. We have a fear of missing out or a FOMO. I don't want to miss out on the next platform, the best way to do this, whatever. Here's what happens. We don't get traction anywhere. So Kim, if YouTube is what's working for you, then I would use that one video. Like I said, I'd like for you to post it in the group. I'd like to see it. I would like to see it. So please post it in the group. That's your challenge. Put it up and then I can watch it and then other people can watch it. We can give you feedback. Share with us where you might like to be featured and let's talk about how to get you there. It'd be a fun exercise. We can all learn from it. Hi, Meryl. Good to see you. Kim says, Janine, before I did a video, I was so worried about the way I looked, but then I decided to go for it because I could always delete it and start again. You can do this. It's so true. Oh my gosh. It's so true. I've recently been working with a client on this. And the most important thing is to show up as authentic. So I'll be honest. When I first started doing live streams, if you were to go back and like watch my very early Periscopes, they were very proper and very reserved, like very like professional, quote unquote professional, like what I thought I needed to be. I was watching another a seven-figure coach's Periscopes and I fell in love with the way she related because I was like, that's me. That's who I really am. I'm quirky. And I'm going to be my real self. Like, I just really interacted with her, you know, and I, like, interacted, quote unquote, like, from however far, right? So my old videos are not this, but I had to show up this way for a while, like, as the old, like, reserved, not actually Christine, in order to get comfortable enough to do this, in order to get comfortable enough and get really good at reading comments and responding and like not completely losing my train of thought and giving you value and showing up and figuring out what worked and all of those things. So you got to start where you are. And if it's crap, no one's going to remember anyway, because here's why. They don't know who you are right now anyway. So they're not going to remember if you mess up. We are not Oprah talking about going on a live stream without makeup or her entire team and her hair, right? Her whole hair team, her whole face team, her whole body team, her whole stylist team. We are not Oprah. People don't care that much, which is great. It's freeing. But then when we show up and we show up as authentic and genuine, that's the most important thing. It's the most important thing when you're doing business online, is that you're yourself. Okay? Then people will connect with you. Your people will connect with you. Ken says, I will. Thank you. Mallory says she wants to see it too. Very good. Mallory says there's no judgment in life with passion. Best place to practice live videos, in my opinion. Absolutely. Listen, you all are an amazing group of women. I honestly think we've run off the non-amazing part, the people who aren't genuine. I mean, I think I ran them off because I'm not afraid to call people out and say, hey, if you're just here to advertise, ain't the group for you. And that's why my group's a lot smaller than a lot of groups. Not because it's not amazing, but because people are genuinely not there just to promote themselves. They are genuinely interacting. And I love that about us. And it's very unique. Kim says, I love that you have some horse people in the group. It's so awesome. There are a ton of horse people in the group, Kim, because a lot of people I've worked with have been horse clients or in the horse business, or they love horses and also want to have a business. And that's one of the things that we've connected on because, when it comes to being visible, it's really important to know sort of what your hooks are, your news pegs, is what this one publicist I talked to said. And my news pegs, the pegs that people know me for, are two things. You could ask anyone who knows my message and my story well, right? Those two things are horses, which I've talked about a lot. A lot of my ads and pictures and things have featured horses. And then the other thing is Maeve, right? The experience that I went through with losing her and starting the nonprofit, and how Maeve changed my life, inspired me to get over my own fear and start life with passion. She is absolutely integral to why I am here talking to you right now. And so those two things, I mean, that's what people know me for. I've said this before, but I get tagged in Facebook groups when someone brings up some kind of pregnancy loss. You should talk to Christine McAlister. I get tagged in Facebook groups when people talk about loving horses. You should talk to Christine McAlister. That's what people know me for. Guess what? I have a million other things that I love, but I love those things, and I'm cool with talking about them, right? Because I believe that, they're both huge parts of me, and I desire to help other women. And so if that's what people remember me for, that's what it's become, then that's fine. That's fine. I don't only take on horse clients. I don't only take on clients who have some personal or familial experience with pregnancy or infant loss. I do have both of those things, but it's not all I do, but it's fine, right? Even if it was all I did, there are still plenty of clients in both of those spaces for me, and there are plenty of clients in your niche for you. And the great thing about the internet is that no matter how weird or specific your niche is, you can find your tribe online. Am I right? So I posted earlier today in the group, if you're watching this live, about our personality types, right? Myers-Briggs is a favorite assessment of mine. I've been using it for 10 years, right? As a professor, as a career counselor, all these things that I did in my past life. And my personality type is less than 1% of the population, okay? It's very, very rare. But because we're online, I get to connect with a lot of other people with the same personality type. And there are a ton of you in this group. What's really, really odd is through the years, my best friends have always been the same personality type. My husband is the same personality type even. Because I think we know, we feel like outsiders a lot of the time in life. And when we meet someone who we connect with, we're very intuitive people. Then we're like, ooh, I like her. Ooh, I like him, right? And I think we just are drawn to each other because of that. So what questions can I answer for you guys about visibility today? I want this to be so full of value for you. Or if you're watching this replay, post below and I will come back and answer. What questions can I answer for you about visibility? What questions can I help you brainstorm? Can I help you get over that fear? Janine, if you're still on, I'd love to know what's going on with that and help coach you through it. I'm going to get a drink of water while you think about that and maybe type in some things for me. It's purple. Any of my health and wellness peeps out there, are you so proud of me for drinking my water? Been thinking about it. I've been breathing, abdominal breathing. Kim says, I'm looking forward to our call Monday. Awesome, awesome. Me too. Me too. So exciting. Listen, it is so much more possible for you to get visible if you want than you think. So my audience is several thousand people now, like the audience that I have built across my social media platforms, right? Several thousand. I think the last time I added it up, it was like 6,000. But these podcasts that I'm on have audiences of tens of thousands. The one I'm going to be on Tuesday, if you're watching this live, has an audience of 100,000 people. And guess what? They live stream it from their Facebook page. So normally it's just audio that's being recorded, but they're going to live stream it. It's going to go live right then. It's not recorded ahead of time like a lot of these are. So amazing. Meryl, being visible can be scary, and I perform in musicals. Haha. Yeah, totally. You know what? Me too. I was the president of the Thespian Society. I was not an athlete, although I like to do my 30-minute workouts and stay in shape. I was not an athlete. I didn't play high school sports because I was really into acting and drama and musical theater. But guess what? I'm also a major introvert. Major introvert. It might not seem like it, but I am. I'm totally an introvert. I totally love my cozy nights by the fire. Garrett said there's 100% chance that I would be asleep by midnight on New Year's. I went to bed at 9 o'clock after spending the evening in front of the fire. It was outstanding. My favorite kind of party is where I know everyone. So basically, my favorite kind of party is a party where I'm hosting it because I know everyone. Yeah, me too. A lot of actors are, right? It's how we express ourselves. It's so how we express ourselves. Mallory needs to hop off. I'm so glad you joined live, Mallory. Mwah, 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 mwah. Hannah says, how do you make the first move to visibility? Ooh, I love that question. Hannah. Also, I love your name. It's fabulous, and I wish my name was Christine von McAlister. Actually, my maiden name is Ammerman, and that's Dutch. So it means keeper of the cows, if anyone's wondering, which is very appropriate because, hello, I am like, actually do take care of some cows now occasionally when I visit my horses, but in agriculture. Anyway, cool name, tangent, back on. Well, where do you want to be visible, Hannah? What message do you want to share? That would be my first question to you. So tell me. Maybe I'll give you the answer that I love to give my clients. Post in my group. Here's why. If you were with us earlier, we were talking about what an incredible, supportive, like outstanding, no judgment, totally safe space that is. And that's all because of you, right? I'm only one person in that group. So the other 800 and almost 900 of you now are beautiful at showing up for each other, and you're all on the same path. We're all on this journey together. And so if you want to show up and be visible, you have a community of almost 900 women at the time of this recording who are ready to support you. So it could be with a post, it could be with a little video, but that's the first step, because what I have found with my clients is that, right, like there's a trust factor there where they know they can do that in a safe space. They know they can do that in a safe space. And so putting it there makes them get more comfortable to do it on their own Facebook page or on another social media platform or on their personal Facebook page, like, or their profile, right? Their profile, maybe if they have a business page, all of those things. So how would that sound to you? Okay, I like it. That's doable. Very good. And your name is originally Dutch Canadian. Perfect. 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 My family are from Michigan, so right, it's pretty close to Canada. Kim says, where do you want to be visible? That's a great question. I'll have to give this some thought. Yes, yes, yeah. And I might throw that out there in the Facebook group and see, where do you guys want to be visible? Let's talk about how to get you visible in 2017, because when you are talking about the thing that you're passionate about, you are magnetic to your ideal clients. And so the logic follows, if you can talk about what you're passionate about in front of a large audience that's already provided for you, you are going to be magnetic. You are going to be a stronger magnet, right? To your ideal clients, because more of them are going to be out there for you. So my big publicity goal this year is to appear on national TV. That will be in context, I'm almost certain, with the publication of my book, which is happening later this year. So I will be on a publicity tour for the book, and we'll leverage the book into national television appearances. But guess what? I announced that on a podcast. I said, this is my big impossible goal for 2017 before I decided to write the book. I was just like, I want to do this. And then I talked to people and they said, well, you need a book. And I was like, oh, well, the book was actually like a maybe next year plan. But if I really want to be on TV this year, then I'm going to move up the book in priority, right? So, you know, to the point on focus, right now, I am pretty laser focused. I am focused on doing what I need to do to show up for my clients and those who are interested in working with me, to serve them, to over deliver, which if you've been one of my clients, you know I do, right? And to over deliver and to write my book. To over deliver for my clients and my potential and future clients, and to write my book. And there are a couple different things that fall under those, and visibility is one of those things. All right, Hannah, I am going to be looking for your post or your video or whatever. Make sure you tag me in it so that I see it. Meryl says, I am so passionate about my horse and post pics and sometimes video of her and or me and her trainer riding a lot, but that's not my business exactly. Well, Meryl, I think you're working on it, right? I think it ties in. I think you've worked on a way for it to tie in. So, you know, the most important thing is that you've discovered that you really like posting those videos and pics, and that comes naturally to you, because guess what? No matter what field you're in, you can tie in, or business you're in, you can tie in posting pictures of your horse and video of her and you and the trainer riding. Absolutely. Like, because, all right, let me give you an example. Like because I happen to know what you're working on, it's way more related than me talking about horses in my business. Because for me, but I can still extrapolate and provide a ton of value. So, you know, for me, I could talk about lessons learned from the horse. I could talk about the importance of doing what you love and following your passions. And for me, that happens to be horses. So that's my concrete example. I could talk about leadership. I could talk about, you know, the horse as a prey animal. So their fight or flight response, and how most of us also, even though we're not prey animals, stay in that, and what that does to our brains, and the importance of learning to trust ourselves, right? And so there's so much messaging that you can do around whatever your business is and whatever your passions are, to marry those two things. Or you still get to talk about what you love all the time. I created Life with Passion to combine all of the things that I love and to get to talk and teach all of them. All of them. Right? So there's no reason you can't do the same thing. Meryl says, yes, you do that so well. Extrapolate lessons from the horse world. Thank you. I love it. Right? And you can do the same thing. And you're a beautiful writer. And I love that you use words like extrapolate, because I do too. And I used to be called a dork and hid the fact that I love to use big words for a long time, because people made fun of me, because people made fun of me. What that meant was I hadn't found my tribe. Right? I intimidated people, and so they made fun of me. That's a whole different live stream. If you want to know more about that, feel free to ask. But it was part of me hiding who I really was, and now I use words like that because I know that's who I really am. And I love big words, and I've always have, and I love stories, and I love reading, and I love writing, and I get to write in my business too. And so there's a space for thought leadership in whatever business that you are going to provide, whatever service you're going to provide. Let me give you a couple of examples from the product world that have come on my radar recently. My dad who many of you have met through the live stream, is a huge fountain pen fan. And he's not really into like the super, super expensive pens, but like more the awesome for their functionality and the way that they feel kind of pens. And he has been telling me about this company called the Ghul Pen Company, which is not owned by Robert Ghul, which always makes me think of Saturday Night Live. So completely different now that that image is in your head. But he's like, Christine, it's a pen company. It's a fountain pen company. The guy is YouTube famous and blog famous because he loves pens with all his heart. And he gets on and does reviews, video reviews of pens, blog reviews, answers questions. I got my dad this pen that he wanted for Christmas, and it came packaged with the greatest customer service. I mean, one of the best customer service things I've ever seen. They put thought into it because, so they know, like, you could go and buy pen wherever, right? And find the cheapest deal, but you want to buy from them because it feels so good. There was like a lollipop inside of it. It was all wrapped. It was nice. It had a handwritten note in it. It was packaged beautifully, wrapped really, really well. So there's no chance it was going to break. And why do I share all of this? Because he chose to get visible by like just talking about what he was really passionate about and using the amazing technology we now have, like Facebook, like YouTube, like, his website, to be more than a store. And then once somebody does become a customer, he over-delivers. It's very simple. It's very simple, and it's something that you can do too. What questions do you guys have from what I'm talking about? While you're typing those in, I am going to share with you the other example. It is this tea company here in Kentucky. All right. So I love tea, first off. I never got into coffee. I was really blessed and privileged to be able to visit England when I was in high school with my church, and we went to work in some of the, like, they call them, it was like the low-income housing right over there, where a lot of people are in need of government assistance, and I forget what they're called, but in England. But anyway, that's where we went to work, and so we went to work with the kids over there, and we went to work in the schools, and I fell in love with England because look at me, I'm obviously of English descent, right? English, Irish, Scottish descent. I never fit in Florida where I grew up, but I went over there, I fell in love with it, and I learned to drink tea with milk, right? Because that's what you have. And so over the years, my tastes have expanded. And so even before tea was like a big thing over here, because that's been 20 years or more since my first trip, I love tea. And so I was using it. Hannah, are you in the UK? Maybe we've talked about this, and forgive me if we have. But I know a lot of my people who are a part of my group are in the UK, and I love it. And I get over there. I have kept relationships up for over 20 years and get over there with some frequency. I was just there a year and a half ago. October 2013. October 2014. October 2015. October 2015. I was in London. I worked at the London Olympics in 2012. Spent time in the Cotswolds. I've been all over the place. Yes, Kim says, I love tea with milk. Yummy. And so, my tastes have expanded, whatever. Anyway, I got this incredible gift from a client that who's also Kentucky based. And it was this beautiful box of tea. And it was from this company that I'd seen before. And I tried some of their stuff before, but I looked at their website. He is a thought leader in tea. He holds like tea training schools, and he holds like etiquette stuff, and he appears in all these tea magazines. And guess what? He's in this tiny little town in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. In the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. And I didn't even know about it, and I live 20 minutes away from this tiny little town. But he sells stuff all over the world because he's doing it well, and he provides incredible service, and it's unique because he's so passionate about it. Hannah, you're in the UK. Yes. And you stole the USA coffee habit. You know what? It's going both ways now. And that's totally cool, right? Like whichever makes more sense to you. The taste, I just never caught on to it. And so I don't drink it, but I love my tea. So anyway, this guy, the company is called Elmwood Fine Teas. You can look them up. And he's totally a thought leader in the tea space. And he creates really, really loyal and advocate type of customers. And that's what you have the opportunity to do in any business, product or service based, by over-delivering, by showing up for your clients, by committing to them, by delighting them, by looking for ways to surprise and delight them, right? So that's another way that you can really leverage your visibility, is by surprising and delighting your clients. It is so incredible for me when I have somebody show up and say, you know, Christine did this. They tag me and say, Christine did this, Christine did that. I love that. I don't do it for that reason. But when you, what does Tony Robbins say? When you give enough people what they want, you're going to get what you want. So, you know, a really value-centered way of getting the money you desire, of making the money you desire, of becoming wealthy, of becoming financially free, is to help enough people get what they want in your niche. And what is that? You know, for me, it's helping enough women start and grow their own businesses to get free of their jobs, free of, you know, the constraints of working, doing things that they hate, free to be home with their kids if they want, free to, you know, work their own schedules, free to travel, free to do what they love, as corny as that sounds, right? Free to live a, guess what I'm going to say? Life with passion, right? Because I know it's possible. That's my mission. That is where I want to be known as a thought leader and as an expert. And that is what I talk about when I get on these podcasts and when I write these articles. There are a million bajillion different ways I could take with that, but I'm going to talk to the women who I know need me the most, because I know where they've been. I feel their pain, and I desire so deeply to help them out of that I will talk about it all day long. I will talk about it for the rest of my life. I'll talk about it till I'm blue in the face. I will do things that scare me in order to get that mission out there, because I know so deeply that's what I'm called to do at this point in my life, right? And when you are doing something that you love, or you get to tie something that you love into what you're doing, it changes the whole outlook for you, right? Meryl says, I love that idea. Surprise and delight your clients or customers. Yeah, and Meryl, what you're working on right now, there are so many different ways to do that I can think of off the top of my head. So many different ways. So awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Surprise and delight your customers. Think about where it is that you want to be visible. What is that dream for you? Where would you like to be visible on the today, or I just gave mine away. Where would you like to be visible today, or make a goal today to be visible in 2017? That's a really good place to hang your hat in terms of your goals. So for mine, 2017, ideal place to be featured is the Today Show. I would love that. The Today Show or Good Morning America. I'd like to show up there. I'll get up in the middle of the night. Probably won't sleep, to be honest. Show up at the studio at 3:30. Walk out there, be with these people, have a conversation about what it takes to, you know, overcome the things I have in my life, and to become what I have, and talk about my clients too, and the incredible things that you all are doing to improve your lives and to improve the world around you, right? And to do things like I know like some of you are doing, like sponsoring a senior horse so they can live out their days and in comfort, and give to entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs in developing countries, so that they have the chance to be entrepreneurs too, even though it's not going to look like what we do. They can provide for their families, and you may never meet them, right? To support families going through, you know, something like what I went through, to rescue animals and provide them with homes that, you know, that they need, and that, you know, that you're giving in that way. All of these things become so much more possible when we're focused on doing what we love and living how we're created to be, rather than trying to be someone else, right? So surprising and delighting your customers is going to allow you to continue to grow your business. Becoming visible is going to continue to allow you to continue to grow your business, do more of what you love. And so that's the reason for becoming visible. So Where is one place you'd like to be featured? It can be a pie in the sky goal. I don't care, right? I decided I'm going to be on the Today Show. I reached out to people who I knew had 1 degree of separation from Today. And they told me, there's some steps you're going to have to take before you get featured on Today. And here are the steps. And I was like, okay, great. Now I know, right? But I wouldn't have known that unless I had reached out. One of those steps is get the book published. All right. Took a week in December, took off, went to a cabin, wrote the book, right? Wrote 87 pages of it. So, where do you want to be published? Where do you want to be featured? I'd like for you to tell me in the comments. Watching live or on the replay, hook me up, tell me so we can cheer you on. Where would you like to be featured? Where would you like to be visible? What do you want people to know you for in 2017? What's one thing? Just one thing. It could be 10 million. It's fine. But just pick one thing. The first thing that pops into your head is probably the one to share. Are there any other questions about visibility, about business building, 2017, what I did in 2016? Any other questions before I hop off? This has been really fun. Thank you all for joining me. Hit me up in the comments with any other questions that you think of. I'll be back soon. Have a fantastic day. Think about being visible to grow your business if that's where you are right now, and I am here to help. Mwah!